I hate push-pull legs. I know in the modern religion of bodybuilding, the most common gospel preached is that of push-pull legs. And if that's the modern day equivalent of the Catholic Church, I'm going to pull a Martin Luther and cause some division. Now, as you likely know, I'm completely opposed to anybody telling anyone else how they should and shouldn't do anything in the gym. If you find something that actively works in your favor and gets you results, you should do that. So if push-pull legs works for you, then stop watching this. It can be a great routine that gives you a ton of gains. But if you're only following it because some influencer or your buddy told you you're supposed to, then maybe listen to this, see if there might be something that gives you more results. I've spoken to a lot of people about their workout splits, and from my own personal experience, I've found that there's one common problem with push-pull legs, and that is that something always gets neglected. What always happens is someone will come into their push day, start with a couple sets of chest, do 2 to 3 sets for each exercise, then move on to their shoulders where they do even more sets, even more volume, and completely exhaust themselves. And eventually they move over to their tricep exercise, at which point they're so exhausted, so burnt out with their stabilizer muscles that they half-assed it and don't get a proper burn or the right intensity. And their triceps end up getting an insignificant amount of growth compared to their other body parts. Or if this is the case, they might hit triceps first and end up getting weaker results in their pushing movements. Now, this isn't as big of a problem when it comes to back and biceps, as long as you start with back, because the biceps will get a lot of stimulation just as the result of the mechanics. This doesn't exist in the same way for triceps. An effective bench press for chest is very wide, which limits the amount of activation for the triceps, whereas a more narrow gripped bench press would be less effective for the chest but more effective for the triceps, whereas any pulling motion is going to stimulate the biceps quite efficiently, especially if you're doing narrow grip, which is very effective. And although it seems like an intuitive idea to train complementary muscle groups all at once and increase the amount of stimulation as well as batching recovery together, it also results in incredible fatigue and ultimately leaves one muscle group lagging behind. And this is what happened to me when I did push-pull legs and everybody else I've spoken to. And the muscle group that generally lagged the most was arms, which is a pretty bad thing to have lag behind if what you're pursuing is the aesthetics. What's the point of working out if you can't pop a bicep or a tricep flex to prove you're better than everyone else? So we need to almost without a doubt add an additional arm day, because nobody has ever complained about having arms that are too big. Now, some people correct this by turning their push-pull leg split into a 6-day split, with one push day emphasizing chest and shoulders and the next one emphasizing triceps. My problem with that is you end up leaving a week between proper chest sessions, as well as sort of hitting it ineffectively, which will slow down your recovery while not giving you as much gains. Unless you're actually reaching the intensity required, in which case that much recovery time will be good. But getting a little bit of half-assed stimulation when you hit chest after triceps isn't going to be super beneficial. And if you're training that hard, having your triceps still recovering by the time you have to hit your neck chest day is going to seriously limit your output. Now, I'm not just here to complain, so what's my solution? Just add an extra day. My split, the one I've been following for a couple of years and seen the most results from, is legs, chest, back, and arms. Only 4 days? So do I have 3 days of rest in the week? Not necessarily. I just cycle through my program and take rest days when I need to. For instance, 1 week might look like this. Monday, legs. Tuesday, chest. Wednesday, back. Thursday, rest. Friday, arms and shoulders. Saturday, legs. Sunday, chest, etc. The point is it becomes fluid and you aren't prescribed to 1 day of the week being limited to just one muscle group. So that if Wednesday is leg day and you happen to be busy on that day, maybe seeing a friend from out of town or something like that, you don't miss your leg training for an entire week. Instead, I believe all workout plans should be followed flexibly so that your workouts don't hinder your lifestyle, but instead just become a part of it. Because if you feel like your life is being restricted by working out, you're much more likely to just give up. You should be able to miss workouts when you need to rest and not necessarily when a rest day is prescribed to you. Now, that doesn't mean you should be a bitch and just rest every time you feel a little bit tired. But with this split, nothing gets neglected. A full chest day exists just to put focus onto that. Back and legs remain fine, but the secret ingredient is putting arms and shoulders on their own day, so they can get just as much attention and no muscle group gets entirely neglected. And putting leg day after arms allows for an almost full recovery before you have to go back into heavy compound movements again. And if you completely insist upon a 3-day split for some reason, I have found that a chest and a back day work very well together, even though that's very controversial. So a 3-day version of the split would be chest and back arms and shoulders, and legs. This way, muscle fatigue won't be as damning as it would be on complementary muscle groups, because when one muscle group gets tired, it doesn't affect the training of opposing muscle groups. And some people may argue that this would cause too many heavy lifts in a single workout, but not really. People go heavy on shoulders and chest in the same workout, or they do deadlifts and squats in one workout. And if you really are worried about not hitting enough intensity, you can have one back and chest day focused on back and the next one focused on chest. But really, there shouldn't be any additional stress to your central nervous system doing this workout routine. But again, find what works for you. If you've got a dominant chest, you probably don't need a day just specifically for that. If you've got great shoulders, don't worry about it. If your arms just develop and you turn into a gorilla or your Brock Lesnar, you probably don't even need an arm day. So if you find something that works for you, tune your workout split specifically to that, and don't let anyone, including me, tell you otherwise. Unless it's CrossFit. Don't do CrossFit.